We're live on Facebook. Yeah, we're live. Okay, so I am excited to kick off this 30-minute segment of I See Bright with two incredible guest speakers. Guys, I was on the phone with somebody today who is a medical person, and they were just all jacked up and excited that we have all of our studies on PubMed with Protandim, right? And we are drawing in the most amazing medical people from all over. And I just feel so honored to be in their circles. These are people who they understand so much more than I ever will. And I just will leave it at that. So tonight we have two incredible ladies that have an amazing presentation for you. And I'll start by introducing Joanne Parkin. If you do not know this woman, she's on here. I'm gonna pull up my.
I'm here.
You're here. I'm trying to find my notes to edify you, girl.
Oh, that's okay. I can introduce myself.
Okay, she can introduce herself. She's an amazing woman, and everything she says is incredibly brilliant. She's like a walking encyclopedia for PubMed.gov. And her and Dr. Amy Leverant are going to share the next 30 minutes with you.
So, okay, Amy, I'll have to share my screen Amy and I put together a few slides just to help us, visually help move this along. So let's see if I can share my screen. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. We'll get some slides up and we're gonna get going here. Let's do this real quick. Slideshow. Okay. All right, and Amy, I know Amy is on, Amy Leverant, so we are really happy to have Amy, tonight and to join us. This is just really so wonderful that, that we have someone of her caliber to help share and educate us about the I See Bright by LifeVantage. So I think we're going to kick it off here with her. I think most of you know who I am. I'm Joanne Parkin, registered dietitian, nutritionist. I've been with the business for a while. Oh my goodness, it'll be 11 years in January. So it's just been absolutely wonderful. And I think that one thing that I just love about LifeVantage, because I'm a science-based professional, Amy is too. And for us, it's really all about the confidence in the science, right? I think most people that use our products, they want to know if they work, right? They want to feel better, do more, right? So, so we're kind of like into the science. So what we're going to do tonight, what Amy and I are going to do is that we're just going to try to build belief, guys. I think I'm hoping that when we get done tonight, that you're going to your belief in this new product is just going to be expanded, right? So you're just going to want to run out and tell everybody about I See Bright. But I am going to get started. Amy, I think I'm going to have you hop on and to just tell people a little bit about your background, who you are, and why LifeVantage. So take it away, Amy.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much, Joanne. It's a pleasure. I'm a pediatric ophthalmologist. I've been in practice for 30 years. I recently retired and have joined LifeVantage for the last 15 months. And I was brought in by, I have to tell you that I was told about nutrigenomics and NRF2 by a mother of 3 of my patients. And so don't ever be worried about talking to doctors about this, because we don't know everything. We know about oxidative stress, but a lot has happened since we graduated from medical school. But yeah, I'm very, very happy to be here. But I want to jump in because we don't really have a lot of time. So I thought it'd be really useful to talk about the eye a little bit, because a lot of people don't know, and you're going to be hearing some of these terms. You're going to be hearing us talk about this. And so I think you should know about this. And I think it's not always obvious that the eye is hugely affected by oxidative stress. People don't think about it, but it accumulates. All the damaging effects of oxidative stress accumulates over a lifetime, just like it does in every organ of our body. The imbalance of free radicals does damage to the DNA, to tissues, to lipids, to proteins, and it causes inflammation at the root of everything, as we always talk about. So inflammation and damage and disease. The eye is particularly vulnerable because of exposure. It's a huge target. I mean, think about it. The eye is right out there in front, not like your kidney or your liver that's buried deep in your body. So it's exposed to light, it's exposed to high pressures of oxygen, it's exposed to radiation, temperature, wind, chemicals, pollutants, and of course, bacteria and viruses. And so what I do when I talk about oxidative stress, I like to talk from the front of the eye to the back of the eye. And then we'll talk a little, then we'll go into the IC Bright and why it targets every part of the eye. And first of all, I have to also want to tell you that I think the company hit it out of the park with this product. There is just no question in my mind. It was so well thought out. It was so well researched. I can't be more excited about what's in this. There's a precedent for all of these ingredients, and you can feel really, really confident about it. Let me go back, Joanne, just to the front. Okay, so I want to talk about first about dry eyes, because for me, this is one of the biggest benefits of this product in many, many ways. Dry eyes is huge. It's one of the biggest complaints in as a general ophthalmologist. The root of dry eyes is inflammation. All the oxidative stress, all the free radicals cause damage to the tissues, to the cells that have an impact on the quality and the quantity of our tears. Our tears have vitamin C and lots of vitamin C, lots of glutathione. So you know that that's important for starting out with reducing oxidative stress. The cornea is the clear tissue over the colored part of the eye. And the cornea absorbs 92% of UVB radiation. We're going to talk a lot about blue light, but UV is really important because the front of the eye is what filters out the UV light, which is also very high energy and very damaging. So the cornea and all layers of the cornea has a lot of vitamin C, a lot of glutathione, and it's also exposed to everything else that the environment wants to throw at it. The going past the cornea into the eye. I don't know how many people have heard about glaucoma. What glaucoma is, people confuse glaucoma and cataracts and macular degeneration, but glaucoma is a disease when the pressure in the eye is too high for the health of the optic nerve. So the eye is it's a very delicate balance of fluid production for nutrients and the health of the eye, but it also has to drain out. So it's a fine balance. So the trabecular meshwork is an area, and I don't have the luxury of a pointer, but it's the corner of where the iris and the lens meets. And it's like the sieve of your drain in your sink, and it drains the fluid. And oxidative stress causes damage to the DNA in the mitochondria, which causes scarring in the trabecular meshwork, which prevents the outflow. So that's when the pressure goes up. Also, when the pressure goes up in the eye, it affects the circulation of the eye. And when that happens, that creates a lot of free radicals and inflammation as well. So next, behind the iris, the colored part of the eye is the lens, and cataracts are what form when the lens gets cloudy. So ultraviolet light causes actual oxidation of proteins and other compounds in the lens to create a cataract or a cloudiness of the lens. There's a lot of glutathione. There's a superoxide dismutase in the lens to try to keep it clear. But as we all age, we're all going to get a cataract eventually, but maybe we can slow it down with the IC Bright. So that's critically important. So then you go past into the back of the eye. You have the vitreous cavity, which has a jelly substance in it. A lot of vitamin C is located in the vitreous, which is a jelly that is mostly water and hyaluronic acid. Then we get to the back of the eye, the retina, where you see the macula on the back of the eye there. The retina is like a target with a bullseye. think of it that way. So the closer you get to the center of the retina, which is the macula, that's the highest level of acuity. That's where we see. And when we talk about the macula, that's where we're going to talk about the lutein and the zeaxanthin. That's where it's going to collect, and that's where it's going to do the filtering, the blue light. We're going to get into that. But the retina has 200 million specialized nerve cells. And basically the retina is an extension of the brain. So just like the brain, it's very subject to oxidative stress because it has a high oxygen consumption and high lipid content. So one of the things we talk about a lot is macular degeneration. And macular degeneration is a disease. It's the most common disease that causes blindness over the age of 65. So well before IC Bright came out, we knew that cigarette smoking was highly toxic to the retina, producing free radicals and oxidative stress. We knew that people who didn't have a very good diet and fruits and vegetables had a higher risk of having macular degeneration, and that omegas, luteins, antioxidants omegas are all protective for macular degeneration. So let's go on. Oh, I just want to spend a little bit quick bit on dry eyes, just so that you get to know where all these products in the IC Bright really help. So the tear film actually is 3 layers. You have the layer closest to the eyes called the mucin layer, and that's produced by the goblet cells. This area of interest in this area, this is the first layer of the tear film. And in third world countries, vitamin A deficiency will lead to a deficiency in this mucin layer, and that can cause blindness. So vitamin A here is super, super important. The next layer is the aqueous layer. That's the watery component. That's produced by our lacrimal glands. And our lacrimal glands are up underneath in the orbit, in the outer part of the orbit. So what's important about that is the vitamin D that's put into our product helps with the secretion from the lacrimal gland. Also, that aqueous component has a lot of vitamin C and glutathione. And the meibomian glands, they are absolutely critical for dry eyes. And because they produce a fatty lipid layer that is dependent on good omegas, and also vitamin D is very, very important here. So, okay. So blue light. What is blue light? So that's the buzzword, right? So blue light is like ultraviolet. It's really close to ultraviolet light in that visual, the spectrum of visible light. It's very close. So it's a very short wavelength. It's very, very high energy. It's about 1/3 of the visible spectrum. It comes from the sun. We get it from LED lights. We get it from obviously our digital devices as well, but fluorescent and LED lights. It does have benefits. So it is the light that you get, as you probably know, during the middle of the day. So it is short wavelength. So it comes during the middle of the day, and that's why the sky is blue. But it's important because it improves our mood. It gets us activated. It improves our reaction time, our attention. So we need that blue light. But, and it also regulates our sleep-wake cycle. So when there's a lot of blue light out in the middle of the day, it reduces, and you've heard this a lot, the melatonin production. So, and that's the connection with the blue light from our digital devices, is in the middle of the night, we're getting all this blue light, reduces melatonin production. So instead of getting sleepy, we're activated in the middle of the night, and that's disruptive. So a couple things that we need to talk about is when we talk about eye strain, and as when we talk about this to our customers or people that are interested in our products, I think eye strain is very multifactorial. And I say that because there's a lot of things that feed into it, and people don't really know what you mean by eye strain. But I would say that a few things come to my mind when I think of that, which we can apply to our product. And that is contrast sensitivity. Contrast sensitivity, what happens with blue light is it scatters light and it defocuses things. So when you have that, it's fatiguing. It's really fatiguing. And so that's one component. Another component is actual dry eyes. When we're staring at computers, and this is known, our blink rate goes way down. And when we're not blinking, we get the dry eyes. And when you get dry eyes, because of the evaporation, you're going to get redness. You're going to get tearing, excessive tearing, because your eye is irritated. You'll get a foreign body sensation. You'll get just irritated eyes. And so and it can decrease your vision because of the blurring and because of the poor tear film. And so all those contribute to not only disrupted vision, but fatigue. And the third thing I think is important to keep in mind is mental fatigue. Because when we've been doing this and we concentrate for so long, we just get tired, and it sort of is reflected in our eyes, I would say. So we know about disrupted sleep and brain fog and oxidative stress from the blue light hitting the very central part of our retina and causing free radical damage. But I think, Joanne, I think you want to take it from here.
You bet. Okay, so thank you, Amy. Thank you. That was a great background of the anatomy of the eye, so that we can understand now why our new product, IC Bright, is so important for addressing all of those problems. And so this is, I thought, maybe like some of you, maybe you thought, I'm taking that protandim nerve 2, I'm protected from that oxidative stress in my eyes, because we know that eyes have high oxygen levels. And, I never thought about an eye health product, because I'm thinking, oh, I've got protandim nerve 2. But more I'm learning about IC Bright, I guess I've been hearing about the blue light and how harmful and damaging it was. I thought, maybe I need some of those blue light blockers. But, what IC Bright is, and the way that I think of it, is it's kind of like an internal blue light blocker, because the two primary ingredients, and I should say maybe that the foundation of IC Bright, are these carotenoids, lutein and zeaxanthine, that are found, we get them in our diet. They're very high in leafy green vegetables of all kinds, leafy greens of all kinds, kale, spinach, beet greens. All of the greens are super high in these nutrients. Another reason for all of us to be eating our greens, right? Of course, we'd think of carrots, summer squash. There's other sources, broccoli, cauliflower, but those are some of the sources of these carotenoids. But we just don't really get enough of them in our diet, because our environment, like we learned with oxidative stress, right? You just kind of like, you can't eat enough vegetables or take enough vitamin C to combat that oxidative stress because of our environment we live in, right? On planet Earth, we're so bombarded with oxidative stress. And it's kind of the same thing I see the same thing with our eyes. We were not, God didn't create us to be sitting in front of computers and getting all this excessive blue light. Like Dr. Amy was saying, it's like a little, we need some of that blue light, is a good thing, but this is way too much. And what's really cool is that these carotenoids, they absorb 90% of the blue light, and these carotenoids get concentrated in the macula, right? Way back in the back of the eye. And so that's where you get like that sunscreen for the eyes, your internal blue light blockers. And they have a number of benefits for the eyes. I've been reading a lot of research here recently about them. And just improving that contrast sensitivity that Dr. Amy was talking about. And how about this? Reduce eye fatigue. How many of you are suffering from that? I know I get that by the end of the day. I know every one of you, I know, is going to get a great benefit from this. And there are some additional nutrients. So that's the kind of the foundation is the carotenoids. And then I love it when we were at kind of the docs meeting, at convention. And I love it when Dr. Nancy Bryan said that, when these supplements are created, every ingredient is in there for a reason and has a really important purpose. And that is the same thing with IC Bright. Again, it's like the synergy of nutrients and helping to provide this tremendous protection. So there's some zinc in there and some copper. And these are the cofactor nutrients required for the antioxidant enzymes. Think superoxide dismutase, right? That's important, and it's a component of our eyes as well. And what's really cool about IC Bright versus what I'm seeing from some of the competitors out there is that those competitors out there have zinc oxide and copper oxide, which are very poorly absorbed. In fact, I was reading some research that said some people don't absorb any zinc oxide. I mean, zinc oxide is great for sunscreen, right? I bet you all are, that white zinc oxide you put on for sunscreen. Yeah, it's great on the outside, but it's not so good on the inside. It doesn't get absorbed. But I was looking, the number one selling eye product out there has zinc oxide and copper oxide, right? So you can see right now is that when you're looking at IC Bright and what we have, think quality, right? Think quality. And that's what I'm seeing. So that's that highly absorbable form of gluconate. And then I think, and then the omegas, Dr. Amy, do you want to talk a little bit about the omegas and the vitamin E? Because you referenced that, especially the omegas, when you're talking about the eye, components of the eye.
Well, the omegas are highly anti-inflammatory. So they have effects all throughout the eye because everything is so related to inflammation. They improve nerve conductivity because remember the brain has a high lipid component to it, as well as vitamin E. So both of those help with nerve conductivity. And the omegas promote healthy tears. Yeah. So absolutely critical.
Yes. And one thing too, Dr. Amy, you were talking about, with the omegas, is that it's the DHA that's the critical, omega, right? And so what's really interesting is that we have also had higher DHA in our product than our eye product than what I have seen. And also, do you know that our omega product, or Omega Plus, is also higher in DHA than actually in EPA. So when you're thinking about the omegas, you think about EPA for the brain, and now we're learning how important omegas are. EPA for the heart, the EPA for the heart, and the DHA for the brain and the eyes, because our brain and eyes are so connected. Isn't that cool? So then the vitamin C and vitamin D. Do you want to talk about those, Dr. Amy?
Well, vitamin C is, as we talked about, is all throughout the eye as a huge antioxidant. It's really important in collagen production as Brian Dixon talked about, in the cornea. It's also important for wound healing. So if you ever get a corneal abrasion or something like that, it's very, very important for that purpose too. Right. And the vitamin D has a couple effects. As I told you, it works within the lacrimal gland to help promote the secretion of the watery component, that watery part of the tears. Very, very important. There's some autoimmune disorders that affect the lacrimal gland that lead to a dry eye. I can't tell you how bad dry eyes are. I mean, it affects the quality of life tremendously in people. It's very uncomfortable, and I've had that as well. And then vitamin D is also important for the meibomian glands for the tear film. So it's just, all of these things are they're just hitting it out of the park with this.
Yes, they are.
I'm so excited. I really am.
Me too. Awesome. And of course, last but certainly not least is the bilberry, which is the wild blueberry. And this is I've been reading about it. I've been pulling some of the studies because I'm not familiar with this particular extract. But of course, it's been around, wild bilberry's been around for actually centuries, so people have used it to enhance eye health for all those years. But, now there's the research on it. And I was looking at, a lot of the recent, 3 of the studies I looked at that were actually conducted in Japan. And this is what they found. I mean, protective effects from the blue light can help to reduce that mental fatigue. Because we know that you saw from what Dr. Amy was talking about when you saw the anatomy of the eye and how closely our eyes are connected to our brain and that optic nerve, right? And improved tear film as well. Anything else about wild blueberry, the bilberry, Dr. Amy?
Yeah, bilberry is really, really interesting. When I first started looking at it, I saw a lot of things about night blindness and how it's supposed to help with night vision and that sort of thing. And at first, I think there were, there's research on both sides, quite frankly. But there's some interesting research that's coming out that shows that what bilberry actually does, well, 2 things: the macular pigment, the zeaxanthin and the lutein are important also for night vision. There's studies that show that it's supplements and helps with night vision, but the bilberry actually helps the regeneration of, there's a receptor protein in our cells, in the rods of our cells. We have retinal cells that they're called rods and cones, and rods are important for night vision. And it actually helps with the regeneration of the rhodopsin, which for us, geeky eye people, it's really fascinating because it actually helps with the regeneration of that receptor protein. So that would make a lot of sense why it may really help with night vision.
Yes, I could use that. Yes, wonderful. Okay, so just and to summarize, we're going to look at the benefits of IC Bright. We know what the nutrients are, and we know what the nutrients, and we've talked about, the individual nutrients that are in IC Bright. But I guess when I was looking at it, and I watched, Dr. Brian Dixon's presentation from convention, and I kind of summarized it into these 4 categories of benefit. So it's this blue light protection, right? The internal sunglasses that, kind of like blocking the blue light and then reducing the oxidative stress as well. Better sleep, better vision, better brain. So that to me, that kind of helped for me to wrap my brain around that. So I need a better brain right now. So Dr. Amy, do you want to elaborate a little more on what you see there as far as the benefits?
Well, the sleep, of course, the absorption of blue light, absolutely. The better vision. Again, I'm going to reiterate this, the contrast sensitivity. I would say if people are asking, well, how does it improve your vision? I would say there's studies on contrast sensitivity, perhaps the night vision. Remember that improving dry eyes, I keep harping on that, but I'm telling you, the tear film is critical for dry eyes. We also think that we talked about nerve conductivity. So could this improve the speed of the electrical signals that go from the eye to the brain? That may improve our reaction time. I think that's yet to be seen. But also the am I still on?
I still are. You're going. Keep going.
I lost everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was going to say about the brain fog, anything that helps with neuroinflammation, the inflammation in our nervous system. And these products are hugely antioxidant or oxidative and hugely anti-inflammatory. So that's why we can talk about brain function as well with memory and attention and concentration and focus. So I think you're going to see a lot of benefit with that. And I think that's going to help with the fatigue aspect.
Okay, I can use all of that, especially seeing faster. I'm a pickleballer, so I'm really anxious to see what it's going to do for my pickleball. I can move fast. I'm not sure I'm seeing fast though. Got to watch that little ball come at me, So what I did then, just as well to summarize the benefits, is that I went to the LifeVantage website, and this is one thing that I really recommend everybody do. And it's anytime there's a new product that launches, what you want to do is you want to go to the to the LifeVantage website and read everything on that site. Read the Q&As, read about the product information sheets, read those and get familiar with what you can say and not say, because all of the terms and all of the benefits and what we can say about our products, you'll find the exact terminology that you can use when you're promoting our products or when you're posting, especially if you're posting on social media, right? We have to be really compliant with that. So this is what I pulled right off the website about the benefits. And it really summarizes just what Dr. Amy and I have been talking about, right? About what does this product really, what does it really do for our eye health? And it's actually helps our brain too, right? Dr. Amy, it helps our brain too.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it helps that mental fatigue. And so how many of us all need that? I mean, many of us are still, many people out there at LifeVantage, you're still working, you just really have busy lives. So this is really exciting because our company came out with these stacks. And now we have the Eye Essential stack. So do you see the brilliance, everybody, with combining the Protandim Nerve 2 with the Omega Plus, with the IC Bright, now that you know what you know from listening to Dr. Amy about the eye and about these nutrients? I think that I think of it as like Protandim Nerve 2, so potent at lowering that oxidative stress, because so much of that, not only do we get oxidative stress, of course, from our environment, but our cells create a lot of free radicals. So it's that oxidative stress, that internal oxidative stress from our cellular oxidative stress. And I look at IC Bright as being that next layer of like the blue light, which our eyes are never designed really, I don't think, right? Dr. Amy, do you really think that we were really designed to our eyes to handle that much blue light?
No, I don't.
Right. And so that's why.
Not from our devices and how much time we spend on the computer these days.
Right. And
starting at a young age too.
Starting at a young age. Exactly. So really our company says that our product is for, individuals that are 18 plus, because it really, IC Bright hasn't been studied in younger children. And so I think the nutrients and here would be safe for children, but we follow our company guidelines, right? So I just wanted to kind of end in the last 5-10 minutes that we have. I just want to talk a little bit about the marketing of IC Bright. Use the ITT system, right? Invite, tool, team. So invite, it can be so simple. Something like this: are you concerned about the negative effects of all that blue light we get from our digital devices? Me too, but I found a solution. It's working for me. If I sent you a short video, would you take a look? So see how simple that can be. You don't need to know, we threw out a lot of kind of some new terms and technical terms and how all these nutrients work. But basically, we're doing this, of course, for you, because I would hope that after you're done tonight listening to us, that your belief is going to be like huge about this product. Like you're going to run over to your counter and you're going to take your IC Bright. But use the tools, what you have in your phone. Oh, this app is amazing. I went and looked at everything in the app, and it's awesome. There's 2 videos there. There's social media shareables in your monthly marketing playbook as well. And then get somebody on a third-party call with an upline and say, hey, do you know other people in your family that could really use this? Who do you know that needs this? Well, probably everybody, actually. Anybody that's got a device or spends time on their devices, right? I thought it was interesting at convention that Dr. Brian Dixon said that 50% of the eye health products market out there is younger people. Because we usually think of eye disease as the diseases of old people, right? I don't have any of those. Thank you, Protandim Nerve 2. I do have eye strain. I get dry eyes. I have those other problems related to too much blue light.
Guess where all the birds went? All the hens.
Somebody, can you mute your line, please? Somebody's gonna, thank you. So I think we're going to end with, I got some people lined up to tell some stories. So I have Jim, Tanya, and Marcy. So Jim, are you there? Do you want to unmute your line and tell us your story? I think Jim,
I'm here.
are you here? Okay. I have my husband on. He's got a story, everybody. Okay, tell your story, Jim, because this is, you know, what is it? Facts tell, story sell, right? So let's hear some stories. Okay, take it away, Jim.
Okay, like Joe, I'm a pickleball player also. And the one thing I've noticed since taking Icy Bright is faster reaction on the pickleball court. And I wasn't expecting this, but I think it comes from my ability to pick up the reaction of the ball and identify the trajectory of the ball when it comes off against my opponent's paddle. And of course, if you can shorten the time that it takes to identify the trajectory, it helps you, gives you more time to move to the ball. I've noticed, especially in playing close to the opponents, where the ball is coming back very fast, and real fast reaction is required. That's not why I started taking Icy Bright. The reason I took it was because I understood that it reduced the oxidative stress in the eye. And I've been on Protandim for 8 years now, and it's given me excellent results. And I figured anything that reduces the oxidative stress more in any of the organs would be a good thing.
That's great, Jim. Awesome. Thank you for sharing your story, Jim. Next, we have Tanya. Tanya Sheldon. Take it away.
Jim, will you remind us how old you are? How young you are? How young are you, Jim?
I'll be 83 in December.
Oh, it's so good.
And
Hey, I love you.
Yeah.
So good. You would kill me.
I keep up with those young guys, you know, 60 and 70-year-olds.
No, I don't ever want to meet you on a pickleball court. You would take me down in no time. Yeah, I'll make mine quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to my distributor, Marcy, here in Idaho as well, who has a phenomenal story. I just want to say, like, when a new product comes out, I am typically the girl that never feels anything. Like, I just never do. But I'm going to take it because I know the science is real and I want to be proactive. But with this eye stuff, I was like, oh, okay, that's great. I don't know. It's like eye stuff. But anyway, okay. I have a lot of floaters and I just don't see them now. I hate driving at night. I haven't minded driving at night since I've been on this. And none of this I realized until someone else shared their story. And then I was like, oh my gosh, me too. So floaters. And then I just feel like in the end, I feel like I have better contacts, and they're the same contacts I've always had, but it just feels like they fit better. I don't feel like I'm like adjusting them as much. So it must mean that I had some dry eye, and that is not as bad either. Everything just feels crisper and clearer. So that's my story. So Marcy.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And just wait till after you've been on it for longer too, Tanya. So
I know, I can't wait.
And tell us about, and introduce us to Marcy.
Yes, Marcy, are you? I know she's on here.
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, perfect. Share your story.
Okay, so I have had just lifelong issues with my eyes. At 5 years old, I was diagnosed with, I can't think of the medical term, I'm sure Dr. Amy knows, but severe nearsightedness. And I also had a lazy eye, and that was my left eye, and I had to be patched for that. I stayed in glasses for a while, and then of course contact lenses were kind of the thing, and so I went to contact lenses, but always have struggled a little bit with wearing those just because of the dry eye that I also developed when I got Sjogren's. And then let's see, pregnancy happened, and as if the stretch marks weren't enough, the kids left me with an astigmatism that's pretty severe in the left eye. And So obviously without contact lenses or my glasses, I cannot see anything. And I really resent my husband for having 20/20 vision because he can just roll over and look at the clock and know what time it is. And I need to like search for my glasses and put them on. Anyway, also developed significant floaters. And while most people can ignore those, I can see them and I'll follow them. So I started taking the IC Bright. I was super excited for this product just because of all my eye issues. And I started taking it the day it was launched at Global. And then, so fast forward to today, and I can't really find my floaters anymore. I actually didn't notice this just last night, but the night driving, definitely less glare. That's still something in progress. And my dry eye was the biggest thing, because anyone that with dry eye is trying to wear contacts, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like sandpaper sometimes, and the fatigue sets in really quick. And with, you know, all the, I mean, you guys know the technology, the screens, the phones, and obviously doing LifeVantage for my app takes a toll. And when I think it was Joanne and Amy both mentioned the sleep, I totally realized that on this call. I've been sleeping like a baby since I got home from Global. And I thought it was because I was exhausted from Global, but I think it's from the IC Bright.
Great. Well, that's awesome, Marcy. So you're already seeing benefits. So like I said, too, just think after, you know, after you've been on the product for a while, I mean, just think in the next month, the month after, and just how much better all of that is going to get. I mean, I'm really warmed by that. So, you know, so I think that I'm going to turn it over to Amy. I think, Amy, you're going to wind this down and end this program for us. And first of all, I just really want to say thank you, Dr. Amy Leverant, ophthalmologist, pediatric ophthalmologist, for being on here tonight and just educating us and you know, offering your expertise. We're so grateful and thank you. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, you guys knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and end this recording, and the amazing Tanya is going to start our third Zoom.